Hey guys, this is the first episode, the inaugural episode of LaydBackFitness. I am Dr. John Lay. I'm here with Jesse Pires, and we wanted to start this channel really to talk about fitness, which is something that we both really enjoy, have a lot of fun with it, but also get some words out there, some information out to people about some of the nutrition, the benefits of fitness, the benefits of the nutrition, and try to put it in somewhat of a more simple verbiage, maybe is a good word, that you may not get on other sites. Also, one thing that you're going to get from us about fitness is it's going to be all from a scaled perspective. You know, you see a lot of people out there putting up videos and they're great, but they're also people who are professional CrossFitters who are doing everything RX or above. You're seeing power lifters, you're seeing all these, even some of the videos that aren't professional athletes, they're still doing the big weights and the big exercises. So for some of us that inspires us, for some of us that gets us a little bit intimidated. So we just want to have some fun and make fun of me being old and Jesse not catching on my jokes. So Jesse, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, that was an awesome introduction. I am super pumped to be here with Dr. Lay. So weird for me to call him that because he is such a good friend of mine. I'm super pumped, like I said, just to be here and talk about the reality of sports, of nutrition, fitness, lifestyle approach. And like John said, we're here to have some fun. We're here to pick on John most of the time and really just dive in to help people that are just average folks just trying to stay healthy and live their life and to the best of their abilities. I just graduated school in May for registered dietitian, so I'm pumped to be using my skills and to be working with John on his insight of just all his experience in the healthcare field. And that's pretty much it. I'm ready to rock and roll.
So Jesse, you were I think when I met you, it's like 20 years ago now, something like that. It seems. But you were a CrossFit coach, right? You got your level one.
Hmm.
And did you ever go and get your level two?
Yeah, so my level 2 is in 6 months, which I'm really excited about. I got my CrossFit license 7 years ago. I've been a CrossFit coach for a long time, even though I'm 27, but still a long time. Um, and I did CrossFit gymnastics and I did CrossFit weightlifting courses with the community, which was awesome. It was just more sports specific in relation to the gymnastics and weightlifting. So I think that helped me out so much in coaching and just in my overall fitness too.
So what got you into CrossFit at that point?
So I never really knew much about CrossFit until I come from a huge military family. So we're a big Marine family, and all my cousins would do CrossFit. And I would always make fun of them because I thought it was about rope climbs and flinging tires around and just being, stupid. I didn't really dive into like their lifestyle and just really got to know it. So I moved to Jacksonville and CrossFit, Jacksonville is like CrossFit Central. So I joined a gym and it completely changed my life. And I changed my career because of CrossFit. I was in nursing for 4 years. And then I went back to school, to grad school, to get my dietitian license because I loved it so much. So what about you? I don't think I've ever asked you that question. What got you into CrossFit?
Um, it was years of curiosity, honestly.
Yeah.
I had so back in when I was back in Tennessee, and this was 2008 ish, something
Mhm.
like that. Um, I had a bunch of kettlebells at the house, doing some of that stuff, kettlebell body weight junk, which you'd think I've been doing it that long, I'd be good at it, but I still can't do body weight stuff. That's another story. But
True.
I, the one of the guys that I would go train with, and he would, well, not really train with, but he would take me through some kettlebell progressions, make sure my form was okay, stuff like that, was more into CrossFit.
Mm.
But I was, that was, like I said, 2008. So you had 2007 was, the first CrossFit Games.
Yeah.
2008, I didn't see any of those, but people were talking about, how you were getting hurt. You get hurt at CrossFit and that kind of stuff. I didn't know anything about it. I just thought that was what I'd heard, stayed away from it, but I was always curious about it.
Right.
We moved down to Jacksonville. We're going to the gym, working out, that kind of stuff, and I'm bored with it.
Yeah.
And so I started looking at it online and looking up places. And then the gym that we found, the way that I found it is one of the phone numbers listed on there actually had a Tennessee area code on it. So I was like, well, I got to call that one. So I called. We ended up at that gym. So that was kind of how we got introduced to CrossFit.
Yeah.
Of course, turned out that the guy that had the Tennessee phone number is a Bama fan, so I never figured that one out.
That's rough.
But yeah, I love it because it's always different, and I don't get bored with it.
Yeah. I think that's what CrossFit is. It always keeps you going. The workouts are always different. Even if you run 3 times a week, it's going to be different running each time. So I love that about it.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah. Well,
I do care if you run 3 times a week. But,
okay.
Of course, I've never minded working legs, and with CrossFit, every day is leg day.
Yeah.
To some extent. So. So what are you doing now?
Ooh, I am actually almost done with creating my own business. So when I went to school, I knew that clinical dietetics just wasn't for me. I mean, I worked in a hospital for 5 years, and it just, bless those dietitians. They're great people, but I wanted to be in a community of sports or community nutrition or teaching, something that just keeps me going, that I know I'm so passionate about. So my friend, John, his last name may be Lay, said, start your own business. And I said, you know what? That's all right. I'm going to do that. So I'm almost done starting my own business, got the website, just some, legality stuff going on. And I start my internship in September, which will be awesome. So just go through some different rotations, grab some experience, grab some knowledge, and then just be able to use that for my future clients, which I'm pumped about. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And you've kind of, in workout wise, you're doing something a little bit different now too, right?
Yeah. I cannot believe I'm going to say this, but I've actually adapted the bodybuilding life. I love it. No, bodybuilding, it's an old sport, there's so many perks to it. And it's not just bodybuilding in general. I mean, CrossFit, it's you do bodybuild, but not to the extent of just bodybuilding. I love it. I hated it in the beginning, but now I actually am prepping for my first show next year. So I'm pretty excited. Yeah, I am excited. I still do CrossFit. My fiance Billy loves it. I don't think he'll ever stop. So I do it with him every once in a while.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool. So did you watch the CrossFit Games?
Of course.
So what was your favorite couple of events?
Okay, so my favorite event probably was the sandbag to shoulder, or not the sandbag,
Yeah.
Okay, that was literally that's just raw strength. That is, give everything you have to lift this up to your shoulder. I loved watching Danny Spiegel. She's one of my favorite CrossFitters. She, she's had a lot of injuries, but I love her specifically because if she gets injured, she does it the right way. She goes through therapy. She does a lot of, she works with a lot of holistic medicine doctors. She doesn't, sugarcoat anything. If she's hurt, she's going to work through it and do it the right way. And she killed it. I loved watching her. All the events this year I thought were just crazy. I don't know. What about you? It was definitely interesting to watch.
They were all
different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was what I was going to use. They were a lot different. I think I wonder, I've heard this on another podcast, that I wonder how much of this Bosman and Castro had talked about before,
Yeah.
and just never gotten around to putting it in or implementing it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I thought the sandbag lift was awesome. I thought at first, and I heard this on Savon's podcast, them talking about, I think even athletes have said when it was first announced, they thought this is stupid. But then it turned out to be really, really cool. And then to see them kind of the ones who had been put out sitting on the side and kind of cheering on, especially the women athletes, cheering on the other people as they just continued on was cool. And what I thought was cool about that too was you've got Spiegel, who, yes, is strong. She's a bigger girl. And then you've got, and I can't remember her name now, that came in second to her. She is not a bigger girl. And she got to the 240.
Amanda Barnhart?
No. This girl's from Europe, and
see,
she's more of a gymnastics girl. And I can't remember.
look.
The name that's popping in my head is Magala, but it wasn't her, I don't think.
But I know what you're getting at, just like the different shapes and sizes being able.
And then with the men, you've got Jason Hopper, who's huge. You've got Guy, who's probably pound for pound the strongest guy out there.
Yeah.
And then you've got that Nick Matthews, the guy that wearing the cutoff.
Yeah.
He's more of a gymnastics guy too, but he got up there to lifted their max bag before they brought that 350 out.
I mean, just super strong, like just raw strength. And like you said, like Danny Spiegel, she's a little bit, bigger girl. And I don't mean to say that in a bad way, but like she's got a lot more muscle. She's got a lot more mass on her. But then like you have someone like that, which she killed the bike event. She did amazing, So like you said, it's just, that's the cool thing about CrossFit is like, it's amazing. It's like these athletes are just amazing at training different elements, What
do you think about the Capitol?
Oof. I knew you were going to mention that. That was probably, I would say, one of the coolest events of all time. Like you said, like bringing like this year, it was just different. And like you said, like maybe like Castro and then like talked about it before, but I think with the new era, so everybody's getting stronger, everybody's getting more, like adapted to different workouts per se. You're not going to go to the CrossFit Games and, do the same, movements, I would say workouts in 2009. Everybody's getting stronger, everybody's adapting. So I think it's cool because like they have to keep it interesting, keep it different. What do you think about the Capitol? Tell me your thoughts.
Jacqueline Dahlstrom was the girl who came in second.
That's right.
But I thought it was painful. I mean, anything over a 200-meter run is distance for me. So, but no, I thought it was cool. We were on our way to Tennessee, so Michelle was watching it. I was listening to it. But the pig flips, kind of getting that, and then taking off on a 3.5 mile run.
Yeah.
And then you carrying the two sandbags, and then you're going and you're grabbing the Hustafel stone or that sandbag, and then carrying that up the stairs.
Yep.
What I think the coolest part of that event was, well, a couple of them. Well, this one's not cool, but so Haley Adams, she's got the engine out there, right? She's, can go, but to see an elite athlete like that whose muscles just shut down.
Struggle. Yeah.
She got to the stairs with that bag, and she didn't have the grip to move it more than a step.
No. Couldn't.
Way in the lead, and ended up maybe coming in 5th or 6th in that event once she finally got it across. But when the girl, I can't remember her name, she's a rookie, but she was the last one that finished, and she couldn't pick up the bag. at all.
at all.
And for her, the way they let the crowd come in behind her
Oh man.
and kind of cheer her on for her to pick it up. I heard later that there were some like 5 or 6 year old school kids that were out there kind of on a, you know, a nature walk. I don't know what they were doing, but they started chanting, "You can do it, you
Yeah.
can do it" to her and
Yeah.
stuff like that. And that's the, you got the gyms that say, no judgment zone and
Yeah.
all that crap, right?
Yeah.
Um, but I think that's where, the CrossFit community or the cult that people want to say that CrossFit is, that's where it's a good thing, because that's, everybody's cheering you on, no matter whether you're last to finish a workout or whether you're going to be first or somewhere in the middle. They just want you to get it done. They don't
Absolutely.
care when you finish it. So,
And like you said, like going back to that, like Cassidy Lance McWhorter, 2 years ago, she hasn't been in the game. She had two babies actually, and she's one of my favorites too. And I'll never forget, just like it was like a clean and jerk ladder, and she was the last one, and she failed it like 4 or 5 times. And you see, like, everybody knew at that point Tia Claire Toomey was going to win. You have Annie Thor's daughter, you have all the OGs, you have everybody there, just not even, they just want her to finish. And just the crowd, the Coliseum at the time, like, that's what it's about. Whether you're a CrossFit athlete or you're in a gym trying to pick up your last deadlift or whatever, it's just building that confidence. And I hate when people like call it a cult, because like,
yeah.
it's like once you experience it and like you feel that like sense of like family, culture, just moving your body and doing things you never thought you used to do, it's like it's addicting. How could you not
Mm-hmm.
love that? So I love that. I love the games this year. I think Justin Medeiros is phenomenal. I think he's the new Matt Frazier. That's my personal opinion. I think he's great. I'm a big
I,
fan.
I don't know. It'll be interesting to see if he can be as dominant as Frazier, because, I think Frazier's first couple of wins weren't necessarily, they weren't blowouts.
No, they weren't.
And then he started blowing everybody away at that
Yeah.
point. And I don't know if he got in their heads a little bit, and um, but it'll be interesting to see next year. I mean, Krennikov is good,
Yes.
and so I could see him actually winning next year, because now he gets to stay in the States. He doesn't
Yeah.
have to um, go to Russia and then worry about whether he can get back for next year's games or not. Um,
Even Mal O'Brien. I mean, look who
yeah,
we're,
for the women,
come on,
yeah, and
you
and
know?
I'll be honest with you. I think I enjoy, or I'm more impressed watching the women perform than I am the men. And it's, and it probably comes from, I, some people may say it's a chauvinistic thing, but I, you know, growing up playing sports and all that kind of stuff, and you always saw men doing things,
Yeah.
and they were highlighted for this, especially when it came to weightlifting and stuff like that. Now you watch the Olympics, you'd see the sprinters and watch that kind of stuff, and I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
And very, very strong women out there, but you see that every 4 years. Um, the girls and the stuff that they can do in this sport now are incredible.
It's insane. And like going back to like 2009, like Jason Klepa, he was one of my favorite OG CrossFit guys. But like his era, you have like the Annie Thoris daughter, the Katrin Davis daughter, even when she started, like going to the CrossFit games back then, workouts were prescribed 65, 95, 65 women, 95 men.
Yeah.
Now it's
Oh
like
gosh.
135, 155 women and
Yeah.
185 men. It's like the amount of strength that has just been built over the years is just gives me chills. It's
Well,
astronomical.
well, the second event, which was actually the fourth event by the time they did it on Thursday.
Yeah.
With the runs and the jerks.
The jerk. Yeah.
You know, the women's jerk was 200 pounds, and you know, I'm not getting that maybe once fresh.
I mean,
You know, if I'm lucky, not after I've
yeah.
sprinted 400 meters.
You know,
sure.
and like my average was 187 for clean and jerk. That was my 1 rep max. That was the most I've ever done in my life. And these women, that's like still warm up weight. You know, it's like, and I think though, like getting into like the scaling portion of like CrossFit. So when people like look at the CrossFit games, or you know, they follow their athletes online and see all these pictures or videos and whatever, I think that's another reason why people get like turned off or like scared or whatever, is because they're, you know, social media is king now. Unfortunately, that's the world we live in. So you're thinking of something, but oh, they're doing this. Well, I need to go do this. So then that's where, you know, that limit comes of just, you know, the scaling.
I think some people are like that, and it's I look at it and I watch those guys do that, and I get fired up.
Yeah,
You
totally.
know, to go do my version of whatever it is that they did.
Yeah.
And like we were, is it over?
No.
Like, I can't read. I have no glasses on.
Yeah. Oh gosh. For all of you watching, sad moment.
But it's, you know, so to scale this back, so we were joking earlier, if we were going to do the capital, you know, there would be no pig flips for me. You
No.
know, a 200-meter run, carrying grocery bags, and you know, and hugging a pillow
And
probably
that's
would be,
about it.
you know.
That's our
But
ex.
in all seriousness, you know, you could find a smaller tire to flip,
Yeah.
right? You know, you can knock that run down to, heck, you can knock it down to a mile if you want to get. For me, that's getting crazy, but cut
Still.
it in a third.
Yeah.
Um, you know, get you a couple of light sandbags, and then you know, just one slightly bigger sandbag to finish that out. Um, get a great workout of it. Still probably laying on the ground like those guys were.
But you're still
Um,
getting what you know, you're still getting
yeah,
what you need out of it. Absolutely.
exactly. You're getting what's the big word that ever, you know, the stimulus, right? You're not looking to murder yourself. You're just looking for the
No.
stimulus.
Yeah. I think that's such a good point to bring up for everybody. Old, young, kids, everybody in between.
What well, we're not going to keep anybody a whole lot longer, but let's touch fairly quickly on, let's say, the importance of nutrition with your workouts and with your daily life.
Ooh, yeah. Okay, keeping it broad because that's very hard for me. Nutrition is definitely, you can't work out and not do your other part, and that's nutrition. So I think, you know, just finding someone reputable to trust to help you with proper nutrition, whatever you got going on, that's not only going to help you in everyday life, but through CrossFit or any type of workouts you want to do in general.
Yeah.
So
So good nutrition, good. Bad nutrition, bad, is
right on.
what you're saying.
Yeah,
So
honestly, finding what works. I love CrossFit's prescription of, you know, nutrition. It's simple, eat whole foods, nuts and seeds, you know, not a lot of carbs in regards to, you know, sugary stuff and packaged stuff and fresh fish and meat. Keeping
yeah,
it
you
simple.
know, cut
Yeah.
out the refined sugars as much
Yeah.
as you can,
Yeah.
and you know, I wouldn't be militant. People want to be militant about it. Great. You know, if they have a chronic disease or something like that, they want to attack nutritionally, then be strict all the time.
Yeah.
But at the same time, kind of live life. You know, I know one day last week at the office, somebody brought in some donuts, and you know, I sure grabbed two of them real quick. Uh,
Well,
but you
balance.
know,
Balance, man. Absolutely.
yeah, that was one day though, right? And
Yeah.
just, you know, try to get back. It's not like you out like you undid everything you'd done before that hand. You just go
No,
back to what you typically do.
absolutely.
Um,
That was a good one. We're going to keep these short and to the point, and we will see you on our next episode.
See y'all.
Later.